everyone, how's it going? I'll be honest, I really love these 0 EXP challenges. It's just such a different way to think about Pokemon and getting through the various sections, and it really makes you appreciate the wild Pokemon that I usually ignore in my solo runs. So for me specifically, these are really fun challenges, and of course I love Kanto, so it's really fun to come back to Kanto and do this challenge in Fire Red Leaf Green. The rules are the same as always. Set mode, no items in battle, the standards, and this game has been modified so that I will not gain experience points. I do allow rare candies because there's a limited number, but I don't allow the daycare because, well, that would nullify the challenge. So now that we've explained everything, let's get into the challenge proper. The first thing you'll notice is that I picked Bulbasaur. This is kind of for matchups for the champion, but realistically, because the starter can never really get past level 5, it doesn't matter too much, although having a starter with Growl is useful. Obviously, a level 5 Bulbasaur is not going to defeat Brock, so we're going to have to go and catch some Pokemon. Route 22 has some useful Pokemon at level 5, so we're going to catch a Rattata, a Spearow, I know that's surprising, but we're going to catch it, and you would think most importantly Mankey, but I'm concerned Mankey won't actually be that great for Brock. Might as well catch it though. Next, I went into Viridian Forest and caught a Weedle. These may surprise you, but I might use them in some interesting ways versus Brock. And finally, to round out my team, I caught a Metapod. Although not an official rule, I do try as hard as possible to avoid having duplicate Pokemon on any team. I really do feel like most challenges in this game can be completed by using a team of 6 different Pokemon. However, I will allow myself to catch a higher level or fully evolved version of a Pokemon, thereby replacing the original one. I mean, listen, there's no official rule set for any of these challenges, it's just what's fun, and this is what's fun for me. And speaking of which, even though I caught one earlier, I did need a level 5 Pidgey. Since at level 5, Pidgey has Sand Attack, and unsurprisingly, we're gonna need some pretty cheesy strats if we want to beat Brock. So we're gonna have to battle Brock with some pretty underleveled Pokemon. I'm gonna lead with Pidgey since Pidgey has Sand Attack, and we're gonna need Geodude to hit less. Now you might think use as many Sand Attacks until Pidgey faints, but that's a bad idea. We're gonna need it for Onix, and Geodude doesn't actually have a rock move. Like in Generation 1, it's just Tackle Defense Curl, which is pretty good. Now the strat is simple. Try to poison it with Weedle and stall. Unfortunately, that's my strategy for both Pokemon, so Weedle can't faint either, which means this is a pretty low percentage play, but it could work. All I can do is just keep trying and hoping it works. By the way, if you're wondering why 2 Sand Attacks, I had a whole Excel spreadsheet. Actually, one second, I should mention I swap in Bulbasaur here, because not only should we lower Geodude's accuracy, we should lower its attack as well. And I used 3 Growls here. Yep, I did a little bit of calcs here to see what the most efficient way, ooh, first turn poison, now that's efficient, but the most efficient way to do everything. Now, Metapod is the linchpin behind this whole thing because Metapod has Harden. And if you never thought that statement would be uttered in earnest for a Pokemon challenge, well, how long have you been watching my videos for? I say all sorts of wacky things, but you can see this worked very effectively, and Geodude faints. Now, I'm going to let Metapod faint because I cannot risk losing a Pokemon. Now, you might be wondering why my editor AJ is appearing in the video. I was at an airport recording this. Well, I was waiting in an airport for like 3 hours and I had nothing to do, so I don't know, this seemed both fun and productive. Anyway, we start encountering some problems with Onix, and Onix is going to be a huge problem since its Rock Tomb is just so good. Now, we really have no way of stalling, and funny enough, Mankey's main purpose is to stall out the Rock Tomb, or at least get it to use Tackle. But unfortunately for AJ, he doesn't get to be part of the winning run. You can see the pieces in place for how these level 5 Pokemon will beat a Geodude and Onix, almost triple their level. Just didn't work out this time. Well guys, it is 7 hours later and I am flying over the United States of America. And why is that important? Because after using a couple Sand Attacks, I decide to swap it up and use Spearow because Spearow is weak to Rock Tomb, Bulbasaur isn't, so maybe it'll tank an attack. And then although it takes more turns than the first time, the Weedle does get the poison. We slowly but surely, at least from my perspective, I'm sure it's going really fast, it gets knocked out via poison, and then we let our Metapod faint, we go into Bulbasaur this time. This is important. It goes for Bind, 1 growl. Bind, 2 growls. Bind, 3 growls. And at this point, we have really put Onix in a bind. It's time for Pidgey, and because Rock Tomb no longer one-shots, Onix is just going to attack randomly at this point, as far as I'm aware. That's how this gym leader's AI works. And because of that, Onix doesn't get Rock Tomb out in time, and I go into Spearow, just get a few more growls off, but the truth of the matter is, Weedle would not survive a Rock Tomb anyway. It's at -6. Now we just need a poison quickly, and we get it first turn. Now we're just going to wait until Onix knocks out Weedle, go into Spearow, use some Pex, and in fact, we never even had to use Mankey. Spearow ends up beating the one to beat Brock, and for the first time in J-Rose 11 history, we have a successful battle not in, but over the airspace of the United States of America. So this is a truly American victory. I did the salute thing, but you can't see what I'm doing, nor do I have a camera on me. But I promise you I did. Funny enough, we're not actually out of the woods yet, because we still have some pretty difficult high-level trainers, and we need to beat a few of them before we can access the grass and replace our team, which we desperately need to do. Now, in the interest of time and so the video flows better, I'm not going to go over every single Pokemon I catch because some of the Pokemon didn't end up being all that necessary and were just backup options. So I'm going to do what I normally do and focus on the major battles, and then you can see the Pokemon I've caught and we'll talk about the team I have. Alrighty, so obviously there are a bunch of Pokemon to catch in Mount Moon, and the most important is Geodude. Also important is that although you can't get the TM in Mount Moon, right outside you can get the Move Tutor from Mega Punch. Unfortunately, we're having the same issue we do in regular Red and Blue, being outsped by Pidgeotto and then not being able to attack. You'll also note that for now, the only other Pokemon I really want on my team, at least long term, is Zubat. Now, Zubat gets a really clutch Supersonic, and I'm hoping Pidgeotto will just hit itself and thus not hit me with Sand Attack. And it goes okay. We can swap in this case. Oh god, not doing solo runs is so great sometimes. But this does remove the accuracy drop. Unfortunately, this Pidgeotto could not be more trolly, and I need both Geodude and Zubat in order to win, which doesn't happen here. Now, to this point, I realized I was being kind of silly, and let's improve my entire team. So, first up, Ekans level 12 with Intimidate. This took a really long time to find. One thing I should mention is that I was very careful to try and get the highest level Pokemon I could. There's something I want to say about this, but let me talk about it after the battle. So now that we've Intimidated, we are going to try to poison the Pidgeotto and kind of do a bit of a similar strat to Brock. But unlike Brock, where we had to use Metapod, this time we have a pretty strong both offensively and defensively Geodude. And so for the first time, we're able to knock out the Pidgeotto. Now, as you know from Gen 1, the next Pokemon is not Abra, it's Charmander. In Gen 3, they can send out Pokemon in whatever order they please. Now, Charmander was a big reason I thought Bulbasaur would be a good pick, because Charmander is definitely less scary, in my opinion, than Squirtle or Bulbasaur. And look at that, Ekans poisoning it, intimidating it, and now we have a Mankey with a fighting move, meet level 12 Mankey. It has Karate Chop and new weight-based version of Low Kick, not super useful. Abra comes out next, and I'm just going to Karate Chop. It's not very effective, but Abra can't do anything, so we're good. Because the final Pokemon coming out is something weak to Karate Chop. It is Rattata. I know, so weird to see this order, but unfortunately Rattata outspeeds and one-shots me with Quick Attack. But Rattata can't do all that much to Geodude, although if it crits, that's a little scary. But a couple Mega Punches plus a Tackle, and that is Rival 2. Now I want to get to something that sucks about Fire Red and Leaf Green, but can be used in later games. So in this game, Mankey has the ability Vital Spirit. Pressure and Hustle do the same thing, where outside of battle, I don't want to get too technical here, but they will increase the chance of you getting higher level Pokemon. There's various encounter slots with level bands, and no matter what encounter slot you will get the highest level in that range. Without giving examples and stuff, it's confusing, but just know it's an easier way to get higher level Pokemon. Unfortunately, that started in Emerald, and a lot of people forget nowadays because it tended to be third version then remakes, that in fact we got remakes and then third version, with Emerald being after FireRed and Leaf Green. Now, as you can see, although trainers aren't easy, I'm having a pretty decent time with Nugget Bridge routes 24 and 25. And so I'm going to head down to routes 5 and 6 and then Vermilion, which also gives me Route 11 and Diglett Cave. In other words, the next time you see me, I'm going to have a completely different and much stronger team. A big reason I don't want to battle Misty right now. No, I want to battle Misty right now. It's been a while. And in Diglett Cave, I was able to get the level 31 Dugtrio. This is an insanely overpowered Pokemon, and the big reason I can just battle Misty right away. I do have other interesting Pokemon on my team that I do want to talk about, but Dugtrio is the headliner. This is something that is true in all versions of the Kanto games. Oh, we might lose here. You get to see more Pokemon here. Oddish, Grass-type Pokemon. I'm going to go for Poison Powder. No, don't miss. The heck? All right, so I was busy gloating while meanwhile Misty was healing everything up. We have gotten a Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd is acquired by trading a Spearow, and we got a level 17 Spearow, meaning level 17 Farfetch'd. And we have another Ekans, level 15 this time, just a little stronger, and thus able to tank the Water Pulse and knock out Starmie. So while I thought Dugtrio was just going to sweep through, you got to see the rest of my team. And this will be the rest of the team, both for Rival 3 and for Lieutenant Surge. There's no new Pokemon that open up by beating Misty. But one thing you should know is that this gym battle was done where I was vacationing in Mexico, meaning we have not only our first American victory, although that was in the air, we have our first terrestrial non-Canadian victory as Misty was beaten in Mexico. And in honor of Mexico being the location, I will, in very terrible Spanish, since I don't speak it, es hora de luchar contra el rival tres. We're going to go battle rival 3. That was terrible. Let me know, every Spanish speaker. I'm not judging whether you're from Spain, Latin America. It's all right. You can all make fun of how bad I speak, well, or don't speak Spanish. In the meantime, I'm going to battle rival tres. I really can't roll my R's, guys. I'm so bad at that. Anywho, rival 3 leads with Pidgeotto, and we're going to go for Secret Power, a TM that we have and that we can use, and it did a lot of damage. And then we can go for Dig. Remember, it's only 60 base power in Gen 3, but we're double everything's level. And Dugtrio is really fast, and it's weak to ground. So yeah, Dugtrio does exactly what I expected to do against Rival 3. And now we're going to battle Teniente Surge, or should I say Alfinique Surge? You can translate that if you want to. But yeah, although Surge is typically better in FireRed and Leaf Green, this is just the perfect matchup. There is nothing he's going to do to a Dugtrio. And we have easily made it through this section of the game. Many of the Pokemon I acquired just in case. If it weren't for some mistakes versus Misty, you wouldn't have seen any of them. But now that we've beaten Surge, we start getting access to a huge amount of routes. Route 9, 10, Rock Tunnel, Route 7, Gift and Game Corner Pokemon in Celadon, etc., etc. There are lots of Pokemon we could use for the next part of the game. The question is, which ones do we need? Which ones am I going to get? And what am I going to do next? Well, for now, Dugtrio is still a pretty good option, although it might not make it through the entirety of Giovanni 1, and that would be okay. I do have another Pokemon that definitely would help, but it does take out both Onix and Rhyhorn. For Kangaskhan, Fake Out knocks it out, and I go into Arcanine here. Now, I noticed that Arcanine didn't have Intimidate, which it was supposed to add. I actually messed that up, but it's at level 20. You can get Firestones from the Pokemon Mart, so getting an Arcanine is pretty easy, but it doesn't do very much. We also got Eradicate at level 25. You can actually get that on the grass just north of Cycling Road. It's still technically Route 16. It does a lot of damage. Another thing we got from that area is Doduo at level 22. And since Kangaskhan just lowers its defense, Doduo mops up. So you can see we have some new Pokemon. As you can probably tell, this team is definitely optimized for Erica, but it did a pretty good job against Giovanni 1. Not that he's typically a very difficult fight. But I do think Rival 4 might end up being a little more difficult. By leading with Pidgeotto, I can't use Dig, But Secret Power, even though this Doug Trio has been on my team forever, it feels like, still a 2-shot. Execute's a little annoying, it's a 3-shot, and thankfully it misses with Hypnosis. So once again, Doug Trio is still putting in work. It outspeeds and one-shots Kadabra, but then comes out Gyarados. Now, I could have gotten a Jolteon in theory, and you can see I even have a party slot available. Since I am here to catch a Pokemon I think is going to be very useful, I also get a very clutch Confuse on Vaporeon, obviously gotten by getting an Eevee, and then giving it the Water Stone, and Doug Trio is able to mop up, knock out the Gyarados, and then knock out the Charmeleon. And then within Pokemon Tower, we're going to do a little bit of catching. I'm sure you already know what it's going to be, but at the very top floor of the Pokemon Tower, you can catch at level 25, so still lower than Doug Trio, a Pokemon that, while not offensively that great, is immune to normal, fighting, and ground. Of course, we're talking about Haunter. And I only mention it because that's a big reason that I came to Pokemon Tower first. I wanted to get this Haunter as soon as possible. But that was not the only reason. Although I built a team for Erica, I realized it would be a heck of a lot easier to battle her just a little bit later with the stronger Pokemon you can get specifically from the Safari Zone. The Safari Zone has some of the strongest wild Pokemon you will find until the very late game, and although there's not a ton of diversity in typing, there are some really strong Pokemon I can use that will make Koga, Erica much easier. So I decide, rather than trying with an underleveled Arcanine, may as well go here. So after all that, we're ready to battle Koga, even though Erica would probably be easier, and we have a Venomoth. Venomoth knows Psychic because of the TM from Mr. Psychic. It doesn't know via level up. But Venomoth and Nidoking both are extremely resistant to Koga's poison attacks. Dig is very useful since it is buyable from the mart in Celadon. Unfortunately, it gets off an acid armor, and I just go into Venomoth here because this is going to be a nightmare. In fact, you know what? It's probably just easier to reset just because that would waste a lot of power points. So this time we're going to keep Venomoth out there. Sludge, you can see, definitely does more to Venomoth than it would do to Nidoking. However, we are able to knock it out at the expense of a lot of power points. It sucks that it's not a guaranteed one-shot on Coughing. That's really unfortunate. And so I have to go into Haunter here. Haunter double resists as well, but it also knows Curse. So we're actually still using Stall, even against Koga. Wheezing is going to be a little bit annoying too, because Dig won't affect it. So not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I use Psychic, which does pretty well. Tackle knocks it out. Now I go into Haunter. If I outspeed, I win. We win. We go for Curse, and now I just have to use Nidoking to avoid attacks, Horn Attack, and that was really easy. We're actually still pretty underleveled. However, in a 0 EXP challenge, and one of the big reasons I love this challenge, as I mentioned right off the top, we can really optimize our team construction for the gym we are facing. In this case, we only needed 3 Pokemon, Haunter, Nidoking, and Venomoth, and I still had Doug Trio, Vaporeon, and Snorlax, which obviously you know we can get a Snorlax, just in case something went wrong. Now, somewhere you wouldn't necessarily think of going right when you get Surf is the power plant. In fact, I almost never go there. But there are some pretty interesting, fully evolved electric Pokemon. Magneton specifically is really cool because it's the only steel type. And steel types have some really great resistances. Obviously, I can also access the Seafoam Islands, the Pokemon Mansion. Aside from Victory Road, the entire game is at my disposal. It's simply a matter of where do I want to go and what Pokemon do I need. And so to that end, it really doesn't matter which gym leaders we battle in what order, because it's simply a matter of what combination works best for each gym leader. So I can battle Blaine, the 7th gym leader, next, because in Seafoam Islands, we got a level 40 Dugong. But Dugong not only knows Surf, which outspeeds and one-shots Growlithe, and Ponyta. Pretty cool. But you'll notice Ponyta using Stomp and not a fire move because I do have Thick Fat, and I think it's taking that into account. We eventually do knock out the Ponyta, but unfortunately I do get paralyzed. And then out comes Arcanine. Arcanine has to go for takedown. We hit it with Surf, and I actually get an Icy Wind. Probably should have just gone for Surf. That was being a little cute, but I get to show off another one of my Pokemon. Just kidding, I'm just going to use Doug Trio because Hey, Dugtrio has been a mainstay. From Gym 2 to Gym, although we've gone out of order, Gym 7. So that's really impressive that the level 31 Dugtrio still has a genuine spot on my team. Although the fact it's fast and super effective against fire Pokemon really solidifies a spot on the team, at least for now. Now, if you're just used to watching my videos on Red and Blue, I should note there is one important plot difference in the Gen 3 remakes, the Sevi Islands. You can access the first 3 before the post-game. In fact, as soon as you beat Blaine, Bill will take you there. And these islands also have some pretty cool Pokemon that have their levels near the 40s, and so will be really, really useful to finish off the rest of the gym leaders. So in fact, other than Lapras, it is now I have access to everything before Victory Road, and one of the things I caught in the Sevi Islands was this level 40 Fearow. And with Drill Peck, it is able to obliterate Erica's team. I could have easily beaten Erica earlier, even Venomoth probably would have done a pretty good job, but level 40 Fearow, it did the job faster. And before I cut away to rival Fievel, you can see that I have a level 40 Dugong, Rapidash, Golduck, and Hypno, all of which were acquired either in the Seafoam Islands or the Sevi Islands. Using the Repel trick is integral, and because I have 50 Pokemon, I was also able to get leftovers. Just so you know, you get 50 and you get the item finder, and then if you use the item finder where you knocked out the Snorlax, you get leftovers. And you have to use the item finder for some inexplicable reason. But regardless, let's move on to the next major battle. Alright, so Rival Fievel will be pretty difficult because he has a varied team. We lead with Magneton. Remember I talked about this. Magneton only has Spark, but does enough to knock out Pidgeot. Really good against Pidgeot. Now Charizard is Flamethrower. I just sacrificed the Magneton, and out comes Golduck. Golduck knows Surf. A very, very good thing about Surf being an HM is every single water Pokemon I catch will have Surf, which is really good. I swap in the Rapidash. Now, unfortunately, Rapidash's only fire move is Fire Spin. Yes, I do have the TM from Blaine, but I'm saving it. Fearow can finish the job. Now, will it outspeed Alakazam? It does, and knocks it out with Drill Peck. Now Gyarados comes out, and Magneton would be super helpful here, but Fearow, I think, is going to do the job, and it does. So in the end, although Rival Fievel had a lot of different Pokemon, the fact we had access to a bunch of level 40 Pokemon earlier than the game probably thinks we should, because if you go in order, you wouldn't get to the Sevi Islands. And hey, at this point, you've actually seen every member of what could be my final team, at least until we get to Victory Road, used except for Hypno. Hoping to use Hypno sometime soon, at least in a major battle. Against random trainers, we can use whatever Pokemon we want, whatever's faster. Against Giovanni, number 2, Dugong does the trick. I was prepared to have something else mop up after Kangaskhan knocked me out, but I got a crit. And so all we have left is Sabrina. I think Fearow will be very useful there. And then we can fight Giovanni 3, and then we'll get access to Victory Road, which will itself give us access to a bunch of different Pokemon. And it's at that point we really need to think about the Elite Four. The main game, as you know from watching my Gen 1 runs, it typically is very easy compared to the Elite Four. And it's why I've been very hesitant, other than with Venomoth, to use TMs that I can't necessarily get back. Our Pokemon are going to be quite underleveled, but that's a problem for future Gyros. Current Gyros is about to use a Fearow to knock out a very difficult gym leader. So Sabrina leads with the best Pokemon of all time, but unfortunately, even though I don't have any EVs, you can't get them without leveling up, I'm still faster. The critical hit against Mr. Mime was actually pretty lucky because it would have taken 2 hits otherwise, but we one-shot almost everything else. Alakazam does outspeed, but it goes for Calm Mind. Not a good idea, and Fearow with its really good attack takes out Alakazam. One more gym to go. Now Giovanni's team has actually been weirdly nerfed. We'll get to it. We knock out the Rhyhorn. Dugtrio goes for Earthquake, so that's good, but Golbat is fairly bulky, and we're just going to use Surf. We can knock out Nidoqueen, that also has Earthquake. Goes for Hyper Potion. Going to save some power points. I have been avoiding healing when I don't have to. Remember, I still have that Dugong in case Golduck faints, and it is going to faint to Thrash right here. I know Dugong can tank a Thrash, so I'm just going to use it. Wow, it more than tanked that Thrash. And here's where the nerf is. It's another Rhyhorn. I don't know why they didn't give him a Rhydon, but all right. That is all the 8 gym badges, but Rival 6 might be very challenging for us. I mean, essentially, it's a beefed up version of the Rival 5 team, but our Pokemon have to stay the same level. So we're going to need to use our Pokemon strategically, and at least one of our Pokemon is going to have to knock out 2 of Rival 6's. Rival 6 leads with Pidgeot, so I go for Magneton. Magneton is not very good at this point, being 13 levels underleveled, but it's still a 2-shot. That's really strong. Next comes out Charizard, and I'm going to sacrifice the Magneton here. Once again, I go into Golduck, Charizard goes for Flamethrower, and Golduck will 2-shot. This is excellent. The burn, not amazing, but we have knocked out the strongest Pokemon. Now out comes Execute. I go for Screech. Execute goes for Solar Beam. This is fine because Fearow now can come out and knock out Execute. So we're so far so good. Rhyhorn comes out next, and it's not a great matchup because it's going to go, oh, it didn't go for a rock move. I think it doesn't have one. Regardless, Dugong did its job, knocks it out. Now out comes Gyarados. I go for Icy Wind, which doesn't do too much damage but slows it down. And then I swap into Rapidash, which seems like a strange play, but I just kind of need to do damage against this thing. Rapidash is able to do 1 takedown before it gets knocked out. And now out comes Hypno. Finally, time to shine. Psychic does next to nothing, so I go for Poison Gas, which could miss. And now we gotta stall a little bit. Here's Fearow. Fearow does have Fly, so we're gonna use some Fly stall, and then we just knock out Gyarados with Fly. Final Pokemon, Alakazam. It outspeeds, but we tank it, and we crit. That probably did matter, but for those of you who get annoyed when I get good luck, which frankly is mostly just me, I do think we had that battle either way, but that was definitely a way to secure the victory. And now we have to do a lot more catching in Victory Road and preparation for the Elite Four. As you know, we have Ice and Water, Fighting and a little bit of Rock Ground, Ghost, which is really Poison, and then Dragon, which also has a Water Flying and Rock Flying. And then this team, but even harder. Looks like I have my work cut out for me. Guys, I spent literally 2 hours catching Pokemon and getting items, all so that I could have this first battle versus Lorelei. We caught a Machoke in Victory Road at level 48, and as you can see, it does have the Guts ability and has been pre-poisoned. That means its Cross Chop is able to one-shot the Dugong. In this game, Slowbro is no joke. So I swap into the same level 40 Fearow, and it does survive, but gets knocked out very quickly. Now I go into Hypno. Hypno has Poison Gas, and of course I forgot the Safeguard was put up, so I'm kind of just waiting. Safeguard finishes, and remember those leftovers I talked about? Hypno has one of them. Marowak also has an item, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Boomerang, however, doesn't do enough. And it looks like all that prep work really didn't amount to all that much because this Slowbro just obliterated my team. So I wouldn't say 2 hours down the drain. Also, if we could go back in the past, the way I got that Thick Club was by spending about 2 hours of in-game time catching Cubone, which appear at 10%, and then 5% of the time, they have a Thick Club. Hooray! So after losing a few more times, I alter my strategy a bit. We're still going to lead with Machoke, and we're still going to go for Cross Chop. This time we're hit by Surf. That's okay. Dugong faints. Now, what we're going to do is just go for Cross Chop and let Machoke faint. Now, we can go into Fearow here, and Fearow can go for Drill Peck. It goes for Ice Beam. Okay, that may have been a bad idea. We can go into a level 46 Arbok, which I've also been able to catch. You know what? Did I say it's a better strategy? This is looking like a worse strategy. All right, maybe Marowak can do just enough with Bone Meringue. Okay, it does. That crit may have mattered, but all right, we've made it deeper. However, Cloyster is... Actually, that's a lot of damage. Cloyster is very bulky. And Cloyster only has Dive, I believe. So, oh, wow, that's a bad miss. That's 10%. But we don't knock out the Cloyster. Everything is going badly. Boo! All right, well, I'm going to go for Brick Break here, see if it does more. It doesn't, and actually did less, meaning it's still going to be a 3 KO guaranteed. And There's the dive. I could swap into... All right, just let it faint. This is not going to be easy. We can use Dugong, and I probably should. Oh yeah, there's spikes out. And we can knock out the Cloyster, but now out comes Jinx. Jinx instantly puts me to sleep. Interesting thing though, this Jinx doesn't actually have a psychic move. So it's actually terrible against a thick fat Dugong to the point where it gets withdrawn. However, Lapras has Water Absorb. So Dugong is therefore useless against Lapras. I mean, there's like nothing I can do except for lower its speed. And then all that I've left is Hypno. And a Hypno of the appropriate level would be reasonably bulky, but at level 40, it is not. So after spending a bunch of time reordering some things, trying to figure out alternate strategies, I end up going for Brick Break against Dugong. The crit knocks it out. And then against Slowbro, this time we are going to swap into Hypno. Now, in an ideal world, Dugong wouldn't have used Safeguard there, so we could have gone for Poison Gas, but I really just want to safe swap it. So, pretty much full HP Slowbro. Arbok now comes out. Intimidate, not really all that useful, but Secret Power does get a Paralysis, and then I'm going to try and lower its defense with Acid. It gets 1 Parahax, which is nice, and at half HP, Marowak should be able to Bone Meringue and knock it out. Very good. So next comes out Cloyster, and Cloyster, we go for Brick Break. You might notice it's doing a little bit more damage. That's because I did not ban buying proteins and using them. They're only so useful and you can only use so many of them and they're expensive, but really worked out here, it's got 100% accuracy and now guaranteed 2-shot. Jinx comes out and we're going to go into Dugong. We know that Dugong completely walls Jinx, especially with leftovers. We're going to try to do just as much damage as possible, maybe knock out the Jinx, or maybe bait the Lapras to come out. Not really sure. We waste a potion. That's pretty cool. She does have one more she can use, and I'm going to speed things up. She uses it again, and we do end up knocking out the Jinx. Now, Lapras, I go for Icy Wind, lowering speed, pretty important. I go for another Icy Wind because what I really want to do here is to try and knock it out with both Marowak and Machoke. So, lowering speed, very good. We're going to go into Machoke. Cross Chop, only 80 base power. And it knocks it out. No crit needed. Now, this is good. We can beat Lorelei. But here's the thing. This team for sure can beat Lorelei. But can they beat the other 4 trainers? I'm not allowed to switch Pokemon in the middle. So this is the big question and why I was nervous. I couldn't build the perfect team for any one Elite Four member. I need a team that's good against all of them. And I'm hoping that's this team. Let's find out if that's the case. So Bruno in red and blue is a joke. We're going to lead with Dugong. Dugong is actually outsped, but Surf knocks it out. Now out comes Hitmonchan, level 53. I'm going to swap here into Hypno. It goes for Sky Uppercut. Hypno has leftovers, and I am going to get off one Psychic. It's going to be a 3-shot. And it's at this point I realized I probably shouldn't let Hypno get weakened so much. I should probably save it for the rest of the fighting type Pokemon, considering Hypno has that powerful Psychic attack. You might notice I saved in between Elite Four battles, which is something in some of my challenges I don't do. This is not one of them, guys. I am using Pokemon that cannot level up. You betcha I'm going to save, because there's a very good chance I'm going to have to reset the run anyway if this is the wrong team. Anywho, what we're going to do instead, and I probably should have figured this the first time, is to go into Arbok. Lower the attack, and Arbok also resists fighting type moves. Of course, counter is a bit of a problem. I go for Acid and get that defense drop. Haunter is knocked out, and it's at this point, I could go into Fearow, but Marowak I think is going to be better. It actually outspeeds, and one hit of Bone Meringue knocks it out. Hitmonlee goes for Mega Kick, but Bone Meringue, I mean, the Thick Club, man, what? That took me like 2 hours? What an investment. Machamp, unfortunately, is able to knock out the Marowak before I get a hit on it, but Fearow outspeeds. I go for Fly to try and use up some Cross Chops. Cross Chop only does have 5 power points. I would know, considering I use the move too. And we get a miss, Psychic, Citrus Berry, and so I go for Poison Gas. I'm going to try to avoid... All right, no, there's Rock Tomb. I really want to avoid the heal. That's my thought process. Please don't heal. Please don't heal. Bulk up. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay, no heal. And now Onyx, we do have Cross Chop. Earthquake does a lot. Ah, it misses. No, but our final Pokemon is a Dugong. And if we hit, it should be enough. Only 2 tries for Bruno, but again, I cannot tell you that this is going to be the final Bruno fight, because if I find that this team just simply can't beat another Elite Four member, another reason I want to save, because although theoretically I can go through all 5 in a row at some point, now I'm trying to figure out if I even have the right combination. And Agatha is definitely a trainer that is very scary. And I don't mean that in terms of her being a ghost trainer and a pun. No, she's definitely one who can end runs, because she has so many immunities and her Pokemon are actually kind of useful. They know decent moves. Not sure how this is going to go. So the best Pokemon arguably against hers is Fearow, but it is so insanely underleveled. Actually, that crit's pretty good, but it's going to be a 3-hit KO. That's not great. Now, this first Gengar can't hit a normal Pokemon, so it is a free KO, but it could confuse me a lot. So I go into Hypno when Golbat comes out, and again, we still have that classic Gen 1 trolliness from Agatha. Air Cutter almost knocks out Hypno, but that Psychic's pretty good. Bite finishes the job. Now I can go into, let's go Dugong here. Unfortunately, no Ice Beam for me. I do have Aurora Beam, and it is going to heal here, so I can go for Icy Wind. Does almost as much as Aurora Beam and slows it down. I should outspeed at this point. Nope, I don't. Confuse Ray, well, that's annoying. All right, let's go for another Icy Wind. Ah, come on. Confusion being 50-50. Ah, come on. All right, we got to reset. So after battling Agatha a lot, I end up leading with Hypno, and I get some really good luck. Psychic's not a 2-shot, but after a special defense drop, it's able to knock out Gengar. Now, Hypno is still out there, and although I'm both poisoned and confused, I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can to this Golbat. I hit myself in confusion, and so, oh wow, I'm actually still around, but Bite knocks me out. So now I have to knock out this Golbat in one hit. I think Marowak is the one to do it. I get hit with Confuse Ray, but I have Rockhead, so no recoil damage, and Double Edge is enough to knock it out. That is a move tutor move. Pretty good. Now for Haunter, Marowak is kind of useless. It tries to put me to sleep. Oh my god, Gen 1. Then it uses Mean Look, and then Full Restore. So this is Gen 3 now. Then it uses Curse, and remember, I can't swap here, but I wake up, and although it doesn't knock it out in the first hit, the second one does the trick. Now out comes Arbok. I get hit with Intimidate. Important to note that while I do want to keep Fearow around, the second Gengar has Sludge Bomb, so it can hit a normal Pokemon. I switch in the Marowak. I go for Bone Meringue, and I wish I could do that versus Gengar. In modern Pokemon I could, but unfortunately here it's completely useless. I try to get a free swap in and realize I can actually swap to Arbok here, because this Gengar, it doesn't have Dream Eater, it actually has Nightmare, which is way, way worse. And so I can kind of swap into Marowak to try and soak up damage, and swap in Arbok to lower attack, because even though Gengar is a special attacker, Gen 3, both Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb are considered physical attacks, so we can really weaken this Gengar. But how do we knock it out? Well, once its attack is -6, we pretty much can do whatever we want. It is important to swap out if we're put to sleep, because I don't want to get hit by Nightmare. Unfortunately, I'm at the point where none of my remaining Pokemon are able to actually damage the Gengar. So I'm going to have to risk being hit with Nightmare. It's just 25% of my HP every turn. Well, you'll see right here. So I survive on 1 HP, and Sludge Bomb knocks me out. So that's kind of what I don't want to see. Hopefully it doesn't happen here. With -6, Sludge Bomb does nothing, and I wake up before Nightmare hits. That's why it's so terrible. Now I go for Icy Wind. Lowering the speed of this Gengar would make things a heck of a lot easier. It doesn't lower the speed, unfortunately, enough, and I do have Rest. So, see that Poison? I don't really have to worry about it too much. I try to go for Aurora Beam, just try to do damage, just try to do as much damage as possible. I go for a second Icy Wind. Now I should outspeed. Probably should go for Rest here, and I do. Fortunately, that means we gotta speed up because it's gonna take a while. And slowly but surely, Dugong is able to knock out the Gengar. Tedious, very frustrating, because Machoke and Marowak had no way of damaging it with their current movesets. But a victory nonetheless. In theory, all we have left are 2 trainers. In practice, there's 2 more opportunities for this team just not to be viable, and unlike when we level up Pokemon in a traditional playthrough, in a 0 EXP playthrough, it's really starting from scratch, because substituting a single Pokemon throws off the whole team dynamic, and we're going to have to start coming up with alternate strategies, which may not work. So I'm hoping this team is the team. Well, the first big issue here is, what do we lead versus Gyarados? Gyarados outspeeds Marowak, which is a problem. And I'm just trying to figure things out. I haven't even healed yet. I'm just trying to see how much damage, how fast things are. So now I am fully healed, and I think Arbok's a good lead. I mean, Arbok intimidates, so it'll do less damage. But now what? And this is kind of where I started to freak out, because really, what do I use? Also, it has Dragon Rage, so it's always going to do at least 40. Hyper Beam knocks out my Arbok, but unlike in Gen 1, it still has to recharge. I send out Marowak and go for Double Edge, which, oh my god. Okay, I mean, it's going to do about half without a crit, but that's insane. I did not think... Man, Marowak is just... Holy mackerel, I wish that... Oh my gosh, okay. We got rid of Gyarados, that's insane. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything great for Aerodactyl. It goes for Wing Attack, we go for Brick Break. That's a 4-hit KO. I mean, that's okay. Now I go into Dugong, I guess? Ancient Power, no, that's enough to knock me out. Machoke with Cross Chop. I probably should have gone for Revenge. Didn't matter there. Maybe I should have gone into Arbok. I don't know. What do I do? Man, this team really doesn't have great things for Lance. I mean, our water Pokemon being weak to rock is kind of rough. No electric type attack for Gyarados is really rough. This is bad. Or is it? Because if we lead with Marowak, then maybe it won't one-shot Arbok when it swaps in. We can swap back to Marowak, and hopefully, actually that secret power was an unexpected bonus, but the idea was we could maybe, and we do, knock it out with Marowak. So now out's going to come Aerodactyl, which is fine, because we can swap in our Arbok, which is still around, lower its attack, and now maybe we stand a chance. Can Dugong hit it with Surf? Yeah, I can. Doesn't do as much as I would have hoped. Should have used Icy Wind. Although truth is, it's so fast when it mattered. Okay, we can swap in on the Ancient Power, which is what I expected. The AI is pretty good. It's going to go for a really good move here. So I knew Machoke was the right call. And now it's going to go for Wing Attack. I go for Cross Chop. Ooh, that did a lot. And now Full Restore. Wish it had Roost. That would be super useful. Should have gone for Revenge. I don't know why I don't go for Revenge enough. Although Cross Chop and Revenge do about the same. Next I go into Hypno. Hypno, I guess Psychic. Try and just get some Psychic damage. Hyper Beam. Ooh, that's really good. Because we get another attack. Now we can poison it. And are we going to knock out Aerodactyl? Maybe. Let's go into... I have to go Dugong here. And I am going to... Oh, Hyper Beam. Okay, so we for sure knock it out. We have no setup moves, unfortunately. And we're going to lose. So, yeah, no, we're still... No, oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, wait. It can become confused. Wait a minute. No, we got this. Maybe we do have this. Wait, I can Mirror Move. Oh, I wanted to Mirror Move Outrage. Oh, okay, and Outrage, by the way, is a special attack, so Arbok wouldn't help us. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do here. I mean, we have an Ice Pokemon, but how are we going to get through 2 more of these? Oh, my God. I mean, they're just Dragonair. But, like, yeah, this is rough. And while I'd love to tell you that I found a way with this team exactly as configured to get by Lance and win, that's just not what ended up happening. I ended up just taking the loss, leaving, and trying to figure out a new strategy. I had some ideas in mind, and I'd hope that these ideas would both help with Lance, but not hurt against the other Elite Four members. For example, one thing we can do is, like we looked for the Thick Club, we can look for Sharp Beak. Little easier to find, but giving Fearow just a little bit of a power boost might make or break some situations. Additionally, with the Versus Seeker, we can rebattle trainers, and although we're not going to get experience points from said battles, we might be able to buy some useful TMs like Ice Beam for Dugong, which is funny because it's level 40, but that would be pretty useful. And other than just wasting time, or I guess spending time, because it's not really a waste, there's really no downside. And with that extra money, we can buy vitamins to power up our team even more. We might not be able to gain levels or EVs normally, but we can still buy vitamins, and although they max out at 100, which is less than half you can get, better than nothing. I spend more than 10 hours of in-game time doing all this. 2 hours of real time, because I sped things up. The question is it going to be worth it? Well, against Lorelei, things are largely the same as what you saw before. You might notice that we do have Shadow Ball now, which is kind of cool on Hypno, but otherwise, the strategy is kind of similar to what you've already seen, with Marowak being the very important sweeper Pokemon that takes out pretty much everything until Jinx. And then you'll notice that Dugong did get Ice Beam. Not really going to help it here, but once again, Dugong can slowly knock out Jinx. And then when it comes to Lapras, once again, we use both Machoke and Marowak. So up to this point, although we've made some improvements, Lorelei's kind of the same. Bruno, however, actually, I messed up against him, and I'm speeding through it, so we have a lot to cover. It was 5 Pokemon left, and just 1 for Bruno, and I still managed to lose. Well, I guess there were 2, but that's kind of crazy. In my second battle, I didn't mess up against him. The trick is we use Arbok against Hitmonchan, which I kind of already did, but we have leftovers equipped. I'm okay with counter. I'm trying to paralyze it. Fearow knocks it out. This is kind of the big thing with the proteins plus the Sharp Beak. Drill Peck now will be a 3 KO. Cross Jump knocks it out, but Bone Meringue, no, don't miss. Bone Meringue can knock out Machamp. And then for Hitmonlee, oh gosh. Hypno, we'll be fine. No, Machoke, we got this. Revenge, remember I kept saying we should use Revenge? That's why. So we knock it out. The final Pokemon is Onix. Oh yeah, I forgot about Onix. But if everything works out, Dugong should still be left. Last time I just kinda did things in a bad order. You do things in the right order. It's close. Bruno is the toughest Elite Four member so far. And notice I still have rare candies in case I need them for later. I'm gonna save those for the champion. But we've made it past Bruno. It may surprise you to learn that Agatha actually was a first try victory. The strategy is pretty much the exact same as you guys already saw. There's really not much to talk about. We got some bad luck and some good luck in certain places, but this team is really good against Agatha. We still do have the annoying problem where Marowak can't damage the last Gengar, so we have to do some swapping shenanigans. However, Hypno has been improved and it's able to knock out Gengar, taking me very quickly back to Lance. But although we could get to Lance last time, albeit in a lot more time, so I guess we didn't really start from square one, the issue is, can we start even getting to the last Dragonairs? I know they're the easiest Pokemon, but they can still knock out my team, the 2 of them. So have I improved enough to the point Lance is beatable? This montage will answer that question. I mean, you did see Dragonair there, but that was actually in place of Dragonite, so we've still yet to knock out 3 Pokemon. After all that work, after all those tweaks, really didn't result in any positive difference for Lance. The other 3 seem like we've really nailed the strat, but Lance, I got no idea what to do here. I feel like I've played all my cards, but of course, there's still some cards I've yet to play. I'll figure it out. I always do, usually. So I've been battling Lance for the last half hour in another Elite Four run. Things haven't been looking great. I really feel like I've not made all that much progress. I mean, leading with Arbok has been the plan. And then Dragon Rage hits, Hyper Beam hits, so Hypno just soaked up damage, did nothing. Marowak, I have given it Rock Slide. So it can hit Gyarados and, oh, crit Gyarados. Okay, that's pretty good. I want Marowak to be around as much as possible, so maybe Rock Slide was the difference maker. Now I want to paralyze the Aerodactyl. Ooh, we did. Okay. I like what I'm seeing here. And Hyper Beam, I love what I'm seeing here. Let's go into Marowak. Having Rock Slide, by the way, well, it missed. You know what? I deserve that after all the luck we've gotten. And it's going to use Full Restore, which is annoying. But unless it goes for Hyper Beam, we're fine here. Okay, Wing Attack. Perfect. All right, Dragonite. I'm going to have to swap here. Notice my Machoke, I didn't allow it to faint. So it is still poisoned from all the way beginning in the Elite Four. That's a change I made where I keep the Machoke instead of sacrificing it. Now Outrage knocks out Fearow. Great. Dugong. I think I can tank this. Yes, I do. Icy Wind. Now, do we outspeed? I've been giving this thing Carbos. I do! Hooray! And it doesn't knock it out. No! That's horrible. All right, so Marowak, I don't think I outspeed here. Oh, but it hits itself in confusion. Okay, yay! Now we have, hey, both Dragonair left. Progress. We get hit with Dragon Rage, and we don't one-shot with Bone Meringue. No. Full restore. Wait. We do. It's a range. Okay. So a range, and we win. Oh, Outrage. And a crit. All right, Machoke. I left you poisoned for this moment. I need you to deal enough damage. Outrage. Revenge. Let's go. It all worked out. So Rock Slide plus keeping Machoke not fainted for the entirety of the Elite Four proved to be the trick, because Guts gave me that 50% boost that I needed. And you can see I've continued to get items such as Black Belt for Machoke. So I've done everything I could. I have now made it to the champion for the very first time. And this could all come crashing down right here. All of it. In many ways, the champion is arguably harder than Lance, and Lance just took me about 4 hours to figure out how to defeat. This is such a bad sign, but hey, who knows? Maybe it'll work. Alrighty, so I don't know who to lead with. I'm just going to go with Marowak because why the heck not? I have Rock Slide, super effective. Sand Attack, that sucks. And that doesn't one-shot. Okay, I don't want the Accuracy drop. Let's get the attack drop. Pidgeot's actually quite bad. Feather Dance, and by bad I mean bad for the rival. Good for me. So, Fearow. All right, let's go to Fearow. Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace. No! Aerial Disgrace. That's not great. Drill Peck does nothing. Withdraw. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to go into Marowak here. It goes for Rock Tomb. I'm going to go for Bone Meringue. Okay, nope. Do I outspeed with Dugong? This is important. I do. And I one-shot. That is one Pokemon down. Executor. I'm going to go... it outspeeds. Darn. It's because I'm 20 levels under-leveled, man. All right. Arbok. Do I outspeed here? Not that it really is going to matter. I don't. Hypno. You don't outspeed. And I have Insomnia. Yay, that became useful. Okay, I've poisoned it now. Light Screen. This is a physical attack, so that doesn't matter. And yeah, okay, so this isn't looking great. Fearow, maybe just a moral victory. Let's knock out a couple Pokemon. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Hooray! That's 2! Let's go! Alakazam. Oh yeah, this is going to be kind of a massive problem. Okay. I don't know what we're going to do. And I forgot to save after I beat Lance. Yay! But, and I'm very proud of this fact, we actually beat Lance, and I know it's getting really sped up so you can't see what I'm doing. Essentially the same thing as last time. We beat him twice in a row. You know how good that feels? I've mentioned in other videos, but it really feels like I'm learning and strategizing and not just trying to brute force my way through things when I can beat these hard trainers twice in a row. Of course, I have no idea what I'm going to do for the champion, but hey, we have a strategy versus Lance. All right, so I've been about 10 minutes of testing orders and what I should do. So leading with Arbok, pretty classic strat. Getting hit with Sand Attack, pretty classic annoying, but we hit with Rock Slide, which is pretty cool. And then I go for Double Edge, just hoping, all right, knock it out, out. And of course, the Pidgeot tanks it. But while it heals, I can go into Arbok, and that's one less attack. I go for Secret Power just because why not? And I do have the lefties on Arbok. So at a certain point, I'll actually be gaining HP. I don't get to have it on Marowak, but Rock Slide, oh, it doesn't knock it out. Why? I'm getting every bad range. All right, I have 32 HP, 1 down. Now out comes Executor. And so here's kind of what I figured out. I can go into Arbok, and that's 1 Giga Drain. Oh, Egg Bomb. Okay, that's pretty bad. I was hoping for Giga Drain. Okay, well, I'm just going to sacrifice Arbok, and it's a speed tie. Hooray. But Acid, maybe I'll lower defense. All right, Arbok is Intimidate, not Shed Skin, but really, really good luck with the 75% accurate Egg Bombs, enough that we actually survive. And Intimidate actually is proven kind of useful because I think we have another hit in us. If Executor can hit us, holy mackerel. So we're never going to get luck like this again. I don't even want to know how unlikely all those misses were. Alakazam, yay. Hypno, you can tank this. Future Sight, that's good. I'm going to go for Shadow Ball. Actually, really good tank. And lower Spadef, that doesn't matter because it's a physical attack. My Spadef lowers, that doesn't matter. Spadef's really lowered. Okay, so can we KO it with something? Dugong, with 2 Spadef drops, this actually should work. And we tank. Hey, look at that. 3 down. And I think that's going to be 4 down. Yeah, wait, no. What? No. That's ridiculous, man. All right, well, at the very least, full restore, we should knock it out with Bone Meringue. No! Okay, well, we outspeed. Oh, withdraw to Gyarados. Oh, yeah, this again. What am I going to do with this one? Arbok, you're still around. Intimidates. Thrash. Okay, well, if I had a ghost Pokemon, this would be great. Fearow, I choose you. Oh, I outspeed. That's pretty cool. And now it's confused. Okay, and it hits up in confusion. Liking this. Drill Peck. Hydro Pump. Liking this less. Marowak, I need you to hit. Snapped out. All right, well, that's not going to happen. But progress. I still don't know how we get through the rest of this. I can use Revenge. Wow. Holy mackerel. Guts Machoke. This is crazy, but yeah. Man, that was cool. Wow, we made it really far. That was the final Pokemon. Of course, I had absolutely nothing to do versus Charizard, but dude, that's really cool. Unfortunately, as it turns out, I needed to get absurdly lucky to get there, and we do get back within 20 minutes because we get a really clutch freeze on Alakazam, which allowed Marowak to knock out the Gyarados. But again, Machoke, I can't teach it Rock Slide since I've already used the move tutor for Marowak, which seems like a good play. If Marowak could somehow hit with Rock Slide, it would one-shot, but I just don't know how I'm going to even get to do that. At this point, I've been trying various permutations of my team for over 2 hours, and I've gotten to the point where if I can't do it, I have to try something else. I still have some TMs to play, like Toxic, so we're going to try that versus Pidgeot. We're also going to try using Dugong. Again, I just need to swap around order. I also have some TMs to play. It just takes a while to test every possible combination to see which one lets you go deeper consistently. And the ones that let you go deeper, it's kind of like AI machine learning. Just trying to see if you can improve and iterate on that. Also, note that what Pokemon comes out next is determined by what you have out there. So we got the Rhydon early, which is good. That will then lead to Executor. And remember, Arbok had a pretty good time versus Executor last time. And this time we have Toxic. Putting Toxic on Arbok, although I like the Secret Power Paralysis, just seems to make a lot of sense. Arbok seems to be just kind of stalling, kind of waiting to get knocked out a lot. So Toxic seems like a really great way to use these turns, especially with Executor that just puts me to sleep, where Arbok really isn't able to do much of anything. Unfortunately, it's put in range for the full restore, but I hit it with another Toxic and we just kind of speed up. In the end, somewhat surprisingly, although while I'm asleep, Arbok actually beats Executor. Now Alakazam is a huge problem, and the only thing I really have is Hypno. I go for Meditate because I'm going to be using multiple Shadow Balls. It goes Reflect, which is very irritating. I go for another Meditate, and I do have the Spell Tag equipped, trying to just power up my attack. I get a full restore, and if I can get a crit, I know I can knock it out. It also can randomly go for Future Sight, which is really good. Reflect wears off, which means this is going to do a metric ton of damage. I wish it would have knocked it out. Thankfully, the AI is really bad with Future Sight. If not, there would be no chance, but that's what I need. Now, Hypno gets knocked out, which is fine because it's a free swap in, and I go for Machoke. I have Rock Tomb, but I get crit, which is unfortunate. And then I have to go into Fearow, and once again, I go for the cheesy Fly while it uses Thrash strat. And it's a good strat when I get lucky. Hydro Pump knocks me out, and Marowak will now, if it misses, which it does, Oh my god. This is it. Wait. No! That was it. That was it. I just needed to hit. No. Poor J Rose. What you go? Oh, wait. Stop singing Joseph. We got this. No! Wait, I think we got this. Wait. We got this. No, citrus berry. All right, let's rest. We got this. It only has... is the math going to work here? All right, I think we're fine. Oh, no, it has more Fire Blast. No, it almost worked out so beautifully. It was so close, but I just think we need to try something different. All right, guys, I got some new items, used the move reminder, got vitamins. It's 2 hours later. There were some cool strategies, but this video is going on too long. But the first change we can see immediately, Hypno using Hypnosis, a move reminder move. And that way, Marowak can safely, like I said, Marowak can safely knock it out without getting damaged. That will send out Executor. And we have Arbok. This is going to be similar to what we've already seen with Arbok. You'll notice I have Glare. There are some adjustments definitely made for other Elite Four members. I also have taught Arbok Dig. That combos well with Toxic, just giving me another turn to rack up damage. But yeah, the Toxic Executor strat, that was actually a really smart strategy. So we're going to keep doing it. And the Arbok does get the knockout. Alakazam, this is the scariest Pokemon. I should have gone for Glare. I went for Bite. That was so dumb, but it goes for Future Sight again. Thank you, weird Gen 3 AI that loves Future Sight. And so I deal a bunch of damage. I get hit with Future Sight. Who cares? I'm going to send out Marowak. I'm hoping I outspeed. It quarters its speed. We're going to outspeed, right? There we go. I should have just gone for Double Edge. Bone Meringue. Gyarados now. All right, who do we go? I think Hypno is the one that's most not needed, but it can put things to sleep. Fearow? All right, Fearow. Hydro Pump. All right, well, great job, Fearow. Now, let's try to put this to sleep. Thrash. Let's go. No. Okay, but I see it. For the first time, I see it. I don't think we're going to win here, but I finally see it. So it is now fatigued. Dragon Rage, Rock Tomb. I mean, again, Machoke is poisoned. Rock Tomb, we're keeping that. Okay, this is fine. It's lowered speed. Wait. All right. Can we tank this? No. Not even close. But, I see it. I see the path. Ooh, nice miss. And, yeah. Icy Wind. Okay, remember the citrus. Avoid the citrus. Nice miss. All right, actually, we're going to make it to the last... Wait a minute. The last Pokemon's right on. Hold on a minute. I'm going to use Ice Beam. Avoid the potion. Go for Surf. No, we had it. It was done. That was it. No, that was it. I had it. Well, after like 100 losses, turns out I didn't have it. So we're back to leading with Arbok because I don't know what to do at this point. Sand Attack's fine. At least with Toxic, we can do some swap strats. And since Arbok has leftovers, it's not a problem. All right, let's just let Pidgeot slowly... No, bad. Very bad Pidgeot. All right, well, that's not what we wanted. All right, Rhydon comes out second now. You know what? This isn't going to work. All right, let's try this again because we need Dugong for Charizard. I'm trying everything, man. Nothing works. All right, Arbok, Poison. Swap back, swap forth. No crits. Okay, nice. All right, now, out comes Rhydon. We can one-shot. We do one-shot. That's 2 down. Now Executor. So I have the swap into Arbok. It's going to go for Giga Drain maybe. Yeah, okay. Now we go for Toxic. And we hit. And we're asleep, but that's okay. Leftovers. Now I'm just going to use Bite. Egg Bomb's not great. Hopefully it misses again. Yeah, let's go. Maybe we wake up. Maybe we hit with Bite. Maybe we get a flinch. Nope. Hey, we survived. I actually didn't expect that. Full Restore is fine. Let him waste it here. Go for Toxic. Nice. And now I'm going to go for Bite. Do some damage. Egg Bomb. All right. Fearow, please. No, Fearow. No, you absolutely useless, weird, long-necked bird. You're so bad. You just had one... Oh, nice crit. See? Negative reinforcement. It works. Okay, now Alakazam, Psychic, that's fine. All right, now here's where we have Hypno, because this is way too inconsistent. Put it to sleep. Nice. 1, Meditate. Shadow Ball 1. Shadow Ball 2. Okay, wait. 2 Pokemon left. Gyarados, put it to sleep. Put it to sleep. Thrash. Yes. Yes. Okay, wait. Machoke. Machoke is the one you want because you need to lower its speed. No. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it's still gonna outspeed Machoke. Hydro Pump misses. This could be it. Guys, this could be it. We could have just done it. We might have just done it. If Fire Blast misses, it's over. Okay, it didn't miss. It's not over. But Dugong. Okay, Dugong, go for Icy Wind. All right, this might be it. I don't know if we outspeed. Oh, God, I wanted one more. Hypno, put it to sleep somehow. All right, it's all up to Marowak. Level 48 Marowak, please outspeed. No, it missed. We did it. Oh, God. I can't believe how long that took. That was insane. Well, that is what it takes to beat FireRed Leaf Green without any experience points. And I know there's going to be 1 or 2 people who ask about round 2, but literally just Google Cerulean Cave, look up the levels of round 2. It would be kind of cool, but much, much easier. My Pokemon will be much closer in level, and I get way better Pokemon to use. So, for that reason, and because this video is bordering on 70 minutes, this video saw a bit of Canada, USA, Mexico, very North American, international video. And so I'm going to bid you goodbye, bye-bye, adios, adieu, and je will see you all in the next video. Take care.